to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake. Now, the mission at Marketing Pulpit Show is to build strong businesses in our community so that we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. So if you ever find yourself in a business crossroads and not sure which way to turn, just turn on the Marketing Pulpit Show because we're on a mission. The show is broadcast live from the illustrious Radio 1 studio. Good morning, and welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. Not saving souls, we're saving businesses, as we have been doing for the past 14 years. That's right. We are celebrating 14 years of being on the air today and this month. Started back in 2010. The Marketing Pulpit was just a concept. I've been out here beating the bushes trying to help people build businesses, and had my advertising agency, and I was teaching at the college. And then one day I said, look, I've got to reach a larger audience. This message needs to get out here. So guess what? Had this idea. I said, I'm going to start a radio show. So I contacted the folks at Radio 1. We sat down and worked it out. Came up with a name, Marketing Pulpit, which was actually named to honor my dad, who was a Baptist minister who was in the pulpit preaching the gospel for 50 years. And he was in hospice at the time, and I was looking for a name and came up with the name Marketing Pulpit. Ran a couple of names by people, and everybody said this Marketing Pulpit has a meaning behind it. So that's part of the brand, Marketing Pulpit. And you can find out more by going to marketingpulpit.com. You can follow the show and find out what we've been doing for the past 14 years. And it's been quite a bit. We've had a very long line of esteemed guests. We put out some messages. We've helped launch companies. We've honored people. It's been a gathering place for business owners. And we're proud to carry the banter going forward on this Small Business Month. And welcome, everybody. I'm Robert Gatewood. I am a business developer by trade. I've been doing this for 30 plus years as an entrepreneur. And before that, I was doing it as an employee for several corporations. Grand Union, Diet to Go, some of the big names I've been doing it for as their vice presidents and marketing directors, business developers, but this information needs to be in the hands of small companies as well. So I made it my mission to level the playing field by starting my company, Gatewood Marketing and Web. We added web back in the early 20s when the internet became hot, and we started doing websites and social media strategies, and we've evolved right along with the Marketing Pulpit Show. So welcome, everybody. I'm also an adjunct professor at Prince George's Community College, which is a continuation of my mission of getting this information into the eyes and ears of many people as possible. Written a couple of books. I also work in the government space as a consultant with the Small Business Administration in the tech area. So I've evolved, the company has evolved, and I am just so proud to have you, the listeners and followers who've supported the show over the years to make this possible. We're going to celebrate this milestone this year. We're going to have a special guest later in the show, Mr. William Maxwell. He's one of the OGs of the Marketing Pulpit. I started the show solo back in 2010 in May. It was a half-hour show back then, and I stayed up there for a half hour and started. I said, well, William had been a partner of mine for many facets. We worked on clients together, and I invited him to join me on the show, and he did that for many years. And he took the show to the next level. And the show has evolved through many facets. Over the years, we've had a series of guests, co-hosts, and things of that nature. So he's going to be joining me later on. So if you have any comments or questions or want to join the conversation, you can go to marketingpulpit.com. We actually have a button on the homepage where you can join the conversation. And also, we're going to have a regular show today as well, talking about some of the things that are happening in the news. We're also going to talk about specifically today, pricing. If you've been following the news lately, you've seen Red Lobster. Red Lobster is closing 98 stores pretty soon. And we're going to talk about that. And some people are laying the blame on this promotion they had of all you can eat shrimp. We also want to talk about McDonald's. They're coming out with a special coming up in June, pricing. So we're going to talk about pricing. Is this a good strategy? Is it sustainable? Or is it a recipe for disaster? As Red Lobster may have found out. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about some items in the news. Other items, some things that are going on. Somebody talking about a bad built butch body bleach bun. We're also going to talk about things that are happening in the P. Diddy world. We're also going to talk about some other things that's going on. So hang around. We have a great show lined up. Thank everybody for tuning in for the first time. If you have never tuned into the show, well, hopefully today you'll find out what you've been missing, but you can't, it's not missed forever. This information is also archived on the Marketing Pulpit at marketingpulpit.com and on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and just type in a search. You can find a topic. You can find a guest. You can listen to the entire show. And we have some snippets, 1-minute snippets of shows. So go to YouTube if you want to do a quick review and catch up. Let's see here. I see Brother Gerald Brown, the greatest plumber in town. He's joining us. He's been a very loyal supporter of the show. Thank you for joining me this morning, Mr. Gerald Brown. Call him one of my deacons on the platform. Today, one of my other deacons, I hope he joins us this morning, but I just want to really came in with a heavy heart this morning. One of my most avid followers and partners and clients, Mr. Bradley Thomas, his loving wife, Miss Terry Thomas, who I've had the pleasure to meet. That's the bitter and the sweet, the joy and the pain, the sunshine and rain of building these relationships with clients. Mr. Attorney Bradley, his wife, is in hospice care. And we're sending out prayers to her this morning, her and her family. We want to lift them up in prayer. So the entire Marketing Pulpit family is praying for the Thomas family. Ms. Terry Thomas, she was a beautiful, gracious, poised lady. She was very supportive and has been of Bradley over the years. I met her during the campaign when he was running for DC Council. And I tell you, boy, you could just feel the love and the support. So I'm going to pray for her and for Bradley and his daughter and his son. It's just some of the most beautiful people, this entire family. So Terry and Bradley and the family, we're praying for you here on the Marketing Pulpit. And we lift you up with all the prayers we can. And we ask the rest of Marketing Pulpit family to pray for the Thomas family. Just amazing people. Today is also, it's the weekend before Memorial Day. So we're honoring people who have passed away as a result of conflict, wars. Became an active Memorial Day, didn't become a national holiday until 1971. It's observed this coming Monday. Some people call it the kickoff of the summer holidays too, where people break out that barbecue grill. But it's a summer occasion, and we do honor people who have fought in the various wars. I'm not a big advocate of wars, but people who've given the ultimate sacrifice for the privileges that we are enjoying, we want to tip our hat to them. And this coming Memorial Day is a national holiday. Don't forget also, we have the First Friday coming up this is the BLE First Friday, where I'll be co-hosting and with Miss Bernadette Clay. She is the founder of BLE Executive Suites. And the first Friday of every month, we have a great celebration over in Largo, Maryland at 9701 Apollo Drive. We've been doing that for the past year and a half. And also we had a reboot of the First Friday. We used to do it at the Marketing Pulpit over here at BLE. And so we just rebirthed it. And Miss Bernadette Clay has been a great inspiration and addition. And she's now facilitating the event at her facility. I am glad to have partnering with Miss Bernadette Clay and the BLE family. So go to marketingpulpit.com and register for the First Friday coming up on June 7th. I'll be there emceeing. And of course, Miss Bernadette Clay will be there. BLE has been a great sponsor of this show for the past, wow, as long as I can remember. And we're just proud to have them as a sponsor of the Marketing Pulpit radio show. Thank you, Miss Bernadette Clay. They have their 3 locations in the DC area, one in Largo, where we broadcast the show, also one in National Harbor, and one over in College Park. Memorial Day used to be celebrated on May 30th, which is the birthday of William Maxwell, as he has so candidly informed us. Let's see what else is going on. Also, this is Small Business Month. We're celebrating Small Business Month this month, so support those small businesses. Don't be stingy. Get out here and support. I try my best. I'm telling you. I buy every book I can, every author that I come across. I go to their shops, their restaurants. I buy their food. A new shop opened up in Fort Washington area, Milk and Honey, new soul food restaurant. Went in there the other day, and a little pricey, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I mean, food is expensive everywhere now. When you think about what you're getting versus this fast food out here, and that's why we're going to talk about pricing today. In our marketing sermon, it's also Mental Health Awareness Month, National Blood Pressure Month, National Cancer Research Month, and a few other observances during this month. We're broadcasting from on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on X, and we're on Facebook Live. We also have a footprint over at Radio 1 where we launched the show. We're not on Radio 1 today, but we are launching. We are still affiliated with Radio 1, and we give them much praise for being the launch pad of the Marketing Pulpit radio show. And thank you to Ms. Kathy Hughes, Ms. Karen Jackson, Mr. Ron Thompson, the engineer Alonzo, great group of people over at Radio 1, and we really appreciate launching the Marketing Pulpit show from Radio 1 in Silver Spring, Maryland. What we're going to do, we're going to talk about a couple of items in the news, but I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to bring on our special guest, Mr. William Maxwell. Great guy. Been honored to be affiliated and partnering with him on several ventures over the years. We have a lot of clients in common. And we're going to go through these news items, and we're going to talk about our topic today of pricing. Did Red Lobster roll the dice on this pricing and lose? And is McDonald's and the other chains running the risk of some of the same problems? So hang on a minute. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. We bring you the good marketing gospel. And so don't you go anywhere. We're going to come right back in a moment. So hang on a second. We'll be back in a minute.
One cup of greens per day will lower your risk of dying from heart attack or stroke by 30%. Hallelujah. A half a cup of beans every day will drop you down by another 30% because of the fiber and the medicines in the beans will sweep away the cholesterol and the saturated fat. Half a cup of berries per day with all of the antioxidants and flavonoids will drop your risk down. And then finally, a fourth of a cup of nuts and seeds every day will drop your risk down by 33%. You simply eat those foods every single day and take everything else away that's destroying you. And we could eradicate heart disease, high blood pressure, and stroke. Glory! Hallelujah.
Register today and get ready for your health revolution.
All right, welcome back. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. That music you're listening to is actually an original by Gatewood Productions. My brother Daniel and myself sat down one day and knocked out we want our own jingle. So, anyway, thank you for joining us today. We got a lot of items coming up in the news. Quickly as an educator, I was reading this story about this school teacher who decided to quit teaching because he couldn't get the students to get off their phones. This guy had been teaching for like 30 years. It was a long time. And he grew frustrated because he couldn't get the students to get off the phone. Let me tell you, I had a decision coming up this summer. I'm supposed to be doing a summer camp at Prince George's Community College. Now, these kids, they're going to be 18 plus, 18 to like 20 something. And I had the option of doing it virtually or going into the classroom. Now, I'm telling you, I pumped that, okay? I was not going into that classroom. I'm telling you, I know we need good, strong men and women in these classrooms to try to rein these kids in. But boy, I'm telling you, I just didn't feel like it during this summer, during the time I was supposed to be chilling out and trying to get my rejuvenation. I mean, did I punk out? I'm just telling you, I couldn't do it. Well, I was really interested. It was interesting that this guy, he said that he just couldn't do it. He gave up. And I hope that's not the attitude that we're going to start taking. Now, there was a study done by the Program for International Students Assessment, called it PISA, and they said there has been a decline in math, reading, and science skills in nearly 80 countries every 3 years. And they said that there is a connection between phone use and lower academic performance. Now, I'm saying this as an educator and somebody who uses the phone quite a bit himself. But I've been trying to cut back. Thank goodness Apple gives you this. They tell you how much you've been using the phone, and you can tell whether you're going up or down. But I'm not as concerned about adults as we are about these malleable minds of kids. The first thing a kid gets when they should start to talk should not be a cell phone. And don't stick them in front of social media. Parents, the bell, I'm ringing the alarm, okay? It's got to be a better way. All right, folks, let me hang on. Let me bring on my guest, Mr. William Maxwell. Hang on a second. Get him on the stage here so he can join me on some of this chatter. William, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Robert. Good morning to the Marketing Pulpit community. Feels like good old days.
Man, I'm telling folks, William, you're the OG, one of the OGs of the Marketing Pulpit. Going way back. Remember I used to do the show solo, and I'd be riding over to Radio 1, and William be on one line, I'd be on the other. He's kind of talking in my ear on what we should be talking about, whether the pressing marketing and issues of the day. Then one day I said, man, well, shoot, why don't you just come on there with me?
You drafted me.
and we just had a great run of doing the show together. Yeah.
So yeah.
So what's some of your greatest memories of the show, William?
Well,
first of all, explain to people who you are. Tell people, introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, first off, William Maxwell, owner of WM Graphics. I'm here in my studio over here in Sheffield, Maryland.
You're not coming through
and I also own a print shop called WM Print Shop. We are a full service printing company. And I've recently, over the past 4 years, launched my t-shirt company, which is Idea Gear by WM. And you can go to the website and check that out and order some nice products. This is brand new, hot off the press, Robert. Got to get the grind going. So, yeah, so basically, we've been doing quite a few things. And met Robert way back in the day. Remember this, Robert? Can you hear me, Robert?
You're breaking up a little. You're breaking up a little bit, William.
Okay.
William, you're breaking up.
Okay.
You're breaking up.
Let's see if
I can try that again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
You put something up on the screen that I couldn't see. I hear
Okay.
you. Your camera's kind of going in and out.
Huh. Okay. I'm trying to figure out why.
Explain what you have here. It's not coming through very clearly.
Okay. This is from the first Black Entrepreneur Business Expo back in 1996. And I met Robert
Bibi.
the following year. I met Robert in 1997. And by the third event in 1998, Robert actually started off the show, and we had Joe Madison, Tony Browder, and others as guests for the event. Industrial Bank sponsored the event. So it was a great start to our friendship and partnership. And we've worked on various projects over the years. I know the other day we were just going down a list of clients that we've worked and helped out. And it was like a who's list. And of course, our dearly departed brother, Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, was responsible for developing his logo. And Robert, of course, you did the website for, ever, basically. And, it just shows the importance of having good partners and good relationships with people that you can trust.
We talked about, matter of fact, last show, we talked about the importance of relationships and partnership and trust. And yes, one of those examples, like you said, was people like Joe Madison, people like Bradley Thomas. We lifting him up in prayer today as his dear wife is in hospice. Had communicated with him this morning, and so he probably won't be joining us today. He's always been a great supporter of the show. And so we kind of have a slight heavy heart, but we are still praying for Terry Thomas, just a great lady. So William, I want you to hang in there with me. We're going to go through some show items. I see you got a lot of people tuning in here. I see Anthony Miller. He's sending his good mornings to you. I see Colin. Good morning, Colin. I see Paul Grant. Good morning, Paul. All right, folks. The people are in the house. Thank you for joining us this morning. We got a great show going on. Matter of fact, we're going to extend the show a little bit today, just because we got a lot of things to cover. And I'm glad to have William here to chime in with me. He's helping me celebrate this 14 years of being on the air, starting off over at Radio 1 back in May of 2010. And so we got to give him some credit. I remember William also introduced me to one of our other co-hosts, Alina 7, who's out there. What's that place she is now? She's out there somewhere in the mountains. She's an anchor now. She's a news anchor. Where is it? South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Yeah, she's a news anchor now on TV. And she got her, she had been out here kind of doing her thing, and William brought her over to introduce her to me. And I looked at her, I said, wow, she's very exotic looking, and I'm not sure she's a good fit for this radio show. And then once I got to know her, I found out she was one of the hardest working people in the journalism world.
Oh yeah, very hard.
And so, just an example of the kind of people that we have come through the Marketing Pulpit show. I see what I call Deacon Attorney Bradley Thomas, Brother Thomas. I'm just letting you know we have been lifting you up in prayer over here on the Marketing Pulpit show, and we're praying for Terry and your family. And I'm telling the audience once again, some of the greatest, some of the best people I've ever had the chance to meet in my life. And so we are praying for you and Terry during this rough time. And just know if anything that we can do here at the Marketing Pulpit, or then you just call us out. And just glad to see you today. Glad to see you. Just great people. As a matter of fact, I used Brother Thomas as an example last week. We were talking about the value of relationships. So that's the bitter and the sweet, the sunshine, the pain, and the joy and rain of building these relationships. You get to know people's families too, and so you become like part of that family. And Bradley has been no exception. I've met his entire family, and I've seen him out and about. And I do feel like they're a family. So when they feel the pain, then I feel it too. And so we lift them up. For sure. And Bradley say thank you very much, Bradley. Bradley has been I can consider him as one of my best friends on the planet. So thank you, Brother Thomas, again. And we do send our prayers as Terry is in hospice right now. Let's talk about some quick items in the news, William. Help me out here. Now, Red Lobster. I don't know about you, but I've been a Red Lobster fan.
Yeah, I had my fair share of Red Lobster, shiny fingers and all.
Yeah, there's one over there not far from you over there in Lanham, one right up there on 450. I've been to that one. There's one over here on Off Road down here in Marlow Heights.
Everybody's been a Red Lobster location. Yeah.
But you know what, William? Now, this is interesting. Now Red Lobster is going to close 98 locations. They have 551 locations in the United States. I did some research, so before anybody goes out here jumping off buildings, in the Maryland area, we have been spared. The stores that are closing in the Maryland area are in Columbia, Gaithersburg, Laurel, and Silver Spring, but not the one over here near us, not the one in Off Road, and not the one over here in Lanham. So, but there will be closing 4 shops in Maryland. So I'm sorry for the folks in Columbia.
Did they say when the shops are going to close? Did they say when?
They didn't give the exact date, but it's part of a bankruptcy restructuring, and maybe the legal folks can tell us what that means. As a Chapter 11, and that usually means you're trying to find a buyer and reorganize. Now, the folks out in North Carolina, we have a lot of North Carolina listeners. Look like some of their hot spots have been spared too, where we have a large listenerships. But they are closing in Burlington, North Carolina, Cary, North Carolina, Durham, and Rocky Mount. Now, why doesn't Red Lobster resonate so with the Black community? Well, Red Lobster was one of the first restaurants to fully integrate. The owner, when this guy's name? He said that he wanted to make sure, this guy named Darden, he insisted that Red Lobster be fully integrated and that customers would enter and exit the same door and sit wherever they choose. And that has resonated over the years with Black people.
Well, that was a great.
Now, what has happened though, William, is that now check this out. Some people have pinned this demise of Red Lobster on this $20 all-you-can-eat shrimp special. Now, William, hang on a second. I'm gonna let you off for a minute. Your camera is going in and out. So hang on. I'm gonna take you off for a second and bring you back in and see if I can get a better reception. So hang on.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna get William back in here in a second. I just want to quickly get through this story. Now, happening on the heels of the McDonald's story is the Red Lobster story is McDonald's, who has announced a $5 deal where they give you like a cheeseburger, a double cheeseburger, 4 nuggets, some fries, and a drink for $5. Also, I just happened to find out the other day that KFC has a $4.99 special. You go in there, you get some like a thigh and a drumstick, some mashed potatoes, a biscuit. I think that's like $4.99. I don't know if they give you a soda pop. Well, I do know because I went through that the other day. Okay, I had a weak spot. Okay, I was weak. I was hungry. I've been eating healthy all week, salads and baked potatoes. And I just happened to be riding through this new mall over there near where I live. And I saw a KFC. Let me just see how this thing works. But anyway, they have a $4.99 special. So we're going to talk about a little later on, are these specials really the right way to go? Let me try to get William back in here. Hey, William, say something. Let me make sure you.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Hey, you're better now. Okay. All right. Sounding good. Okay. So William, let's jump back around here to let's talk about quickly this anniversary we're celebrating this week, and some of the people that have come through the Marketing Pulpit. Of course, we talk about people like Joe Madison, but we've also had people like Attorney Bradley Thomas. We've had Then we went through a series. We had Elena Seven, who's now like a news anchor out in South Dakota. I think about one of the instances, the hallmarks of the show back in. We made a Mercedes-Benz of Silver Spring.
Oh yeah,
he got a win of the show, and
that was a good.
And the guy Calabucci, Mr. Calabucci over at Silver Spring, right? They sponsored the show because they wanted to tie into the mission, and people would ask me often, say, "Does this stuff actually work? What you guys are doing? You don't really do a lot of hard selling on the show, but what you do, you try to make sure that you are finding partners for the community who align with our values." So the guy Kevin Calabucci contacted me one day from Silver Spring, Mercedes-Benz. He said, "Mr. Gatewood, I just have to tell you this story." He said, "This customer came into the showroom and she said, I was about to go down to Arlington, Mercedes-Benz, and buy myself a Mercedes-Benz. Right. But she was a regular listener of the Marketing Pulpit show. And she heard me talk about the Mercedes-Benz of Silver Spring and how they had aligned. They were supporting our mission. They were supporting putting people to work. They were sponsors of the show. She said she turned her car around and drove to Silver Spring and bought a car off the showroom floor. Karma is real. Partnerships are real. Trust is real. You don't have to get on here and do a hard sell. If you have a good mission and a good purpose, people will gravitate towards you.
That's true.
What do you say?
And Robert, remember when we did the live broadcast at the dealership with Alina, you and myself, they actually sold a few cars to the people who had attended the live event.
Bradley said his mother loved Red Lobster. I'm gonna tell you, boy, I'm like, this is not a Red Lobster ad, and they're not a sponsor of this show, boy. But I tell you, those are cheesy biscuits. Their salads are fresh, and once I found out they were a trailblazer when it came to equal rights for their diners, I really became a fan of Red Lobster. So we can work it out. They can work it out. Let's talk about another quick item in the news. Miss Jasmine Crockett, she's in the House of Representatives. She's made the news this week over her comments. What happened? Marjorie Taylor Greene, one of the Republicans in the House, she was William, I think you got two cameras going there. I think this was causing that kickback. Are you trying to change windows?
Yeah, I was trying to switch over.
Okay, hold on there. Getting a little static here. Well, anyways, Miss Marjorie Taylor Greene got into a spat with Alexandria Cortez, and during the midst of it, Miss Jasmine Crockett injected herself, and Marjorie Taylor Greene basically told her, "Well, you're not following what's going on because your long eyelashes probably getting in the way." And of course, to make a long story short, she ended up making this quote now that has become the talk of the town. She ended up she basically asked the chairman of the committee, "Well, what if I used similar language and referred to somebody as a bleached, blonde, bad built, bushy body?" And of course that took off, and it's been the meme, and everybody's been talking about it this week. As a matter of fact, Ms. Crockett has actually filed for a trademark of the slogan, and it has been the rage right now. And I don't know. I think it's very entertaining. But I think that the tenor, the temperature, and the political atmosphere right now has reached a new low. I think that what we're seeing, and I really think, I'm glad that matter of fact, Ms. Crockett pushed back, but it's this tenor we're going into now. We're in an election season. We're going to be electing a new president in November. We have one of the combatants has said that if he loses, he's not going to accept the results. So we're in a different time right now. I'm just sitting by watching to see what happens, but I think everybody should be tuned in and plugged in to follow these developments to make sure we don't lose this country to some, but because we didn't have our eyes on the prize. Let's see if I can bring William back in here. All right, William, say something now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, hear you now. Sounding good.
Okay, good. I just had to use the technology.
All right. What they say, technology is great when it works.
Oh,
all right,
yeah.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to take another quick break. We're going to come back. Go ahead, William. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, I think I got everything working properly now, so I hope you can hear me on your end.
All right. William, quickly, since I have you on the air, what are some of the you do graphic design and logo design. How has technology impacted what you're doing?
Well, there are a lot more people who are kind of going to do-it-yourself route, but the catch-22 is there's a little more on the back end that is involved when you're developing a logo brand for a business. And a lot of times when you're going to the do-it-yourself websites, they're not really telling you everything that you need to know. And actually, Robert, I have a book that's coming out later this summer on logo branding. And that's one of the 2 books that I'm going to be putting out. So I'll be like you, I'll be a 2-book author. And the second book is on how to become a self-published author. And that book also will be out later this summer. But with the logo designs, I think that people have to understand that sometimes you can start off with a logo with a simple sketch, right? And then develop that logo to a finished product, and you can have something that could be trademarked or copyrighted, like the logo that was done for Joe Madison. Right. And I know you're familiar with the intellectual property process, like with Neely Fuller Jr. when the works were done for him and had to be protected for the intellectual property. So a lot of times when people are going to these quickie do-it-yourself websites, unfortunately, they did not read the fine print, and in most cases, those logos can't be trademarked by law.
That's exactly right.
So I think that
what I've been is alerting people to, William, is that, boy, I'm really having a hard time hearing you today, William. I don't know if it's on my end, but what's somebody just I tell you what, hang on a second, William. Let me just, I'm still trying to get you. I'm not hearing you very clearly on my side, but I'm going to push forward on this. We're going to talk about this. Hang on a second. I'm going to bring you back in to talk about so hang on. Okay, Miss Jackson said she's hearing him, so maybe it's just on my end. Okay, thank you, Colette. Thank you for letting me know that.
I had someone else contact me and say it was on your end.
Okay, well, I'm apologizing on my end, because what's on my end is what's coming through my computer. So like I said, it could be a connection on my end. So we're gonna assume that everybody else is hearing you. Okay, I'm just trying not to talk over you, because when you kind of like freezing on my end, so I'm trying not to talk over you on my side. So if I'm talking over you, that means I'm not being rude. I'm not hearing you talk. Okay, so let's soldier on here. Let's talk about. Go back to. Okay, all right. So this is Okay, this is on my end, apparently. So I tell you, William, do this. When you speak, raise your hand so I won't talk over you. I know that you're speaking. Anyway, technology, great when it works. We're going to talk about our sermon for today, our marketing sermon. We're going to talk about pricing and discounting. Now, what we saw with Red Lobster, they had a special, a $20 all you can eat. And many people are claiming that is part of the reason that they have to close their shop. Now, it's hard to believe that you have one special and it closes down your shop, because you can always raise your price. They raised the price to $22 all you can eat. Then they raised it to $25, but it was a permanent part of the menu. Mm-hmm. We're seeing a similar trend now with McDonald's. They have their $5 special coming up in the summer. We have KFC has a $4.99 going on. Wendy's has something going on. But this is it's a great idea. Some of the benefits of low price promotion, of course, is to attract new customers. Now, I've seen William, I do it every now and then. We'll put a low price out there. Right. Now, how does that work for you, William? When you put out a low price every now and then, does that actually bring in new customers for you?
Well, for people who are looking for discounts, they're going to, gravitate towards that. A lot of my clients like it when discounts pop up, but in most cases, they're looking for overall value versus deals. And I want to.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear whatever you said, but I'm assuming that I'm going to keep moving. Now, another reason people have discounts is to get people to try other products. Mm-hmm. So you use a discount to bring people into your threshold, and hopefully they will try other products when you're there. That was part of the thinking behind the promotion at Red Lobster. They weren't just Santa Claus trying to give away free shrimp. They were trying to get new people into the door. That was one of the benefits of these discount promotions. Another thing is to build customer loyalty. If you give people, you reward people for their. And finally, another reason that people offer these discounts, sometimes they're trying to clear out inventory. Sometimes you just have too much of something. You need to get rid of it. You're not doing enough of it. And you raise the price to help get rid of some of this inventory or some of these products that are not moving. Yes, William.
They also use the discounts or the sales as a loss leader. And a lot of businesses for years have used these loss leaders to pull people into their establishment.
And once again, I apologize for the technical challenge. I'm not hearing William as well. So I think the problem is on my end. Go ahead, William. Sorry.
Yes, and a lot of businesses do use loss leaders like sales and discounts to lure people into their businesses, like what Red Lobster and McDonald's has done it forever, to bring in potentially new clients and to, I guess, reach out to pre-existing clients that may have not been there in a while. Back to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Good signal. All right. Well, let's talk about some examples of occasions for discounts. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take William out for a second. William, hang around. I'm going to bring you back in towards the end.
Okay.
So hang on. Don't go away. So let's talk about some examples of these discounts. Now, you've seen bundle packages. I have a client right now who's an author, and we chose a discount whereas we would put several books in a bundle and discount the price. This encourages people to buy more, multiple buys. Then there's what we call BOGO, buy one, get one. That's another example of pricing. Besides just reducing the price of the existing product, you offer them to buy one and get another one. When I was in the food business, a popular term was called a loss leader. That means we put a price out here where we're going to lose money on it. And we knew that going into it. Another a discount for a limited period of time, sometimes for a limited quantity. I mean, there's limited quantity buys. You might go to the store, they say you can buy 4 and you get a discount, or they may just put it on certain items. These are different examples of different types of discounts. Now, let me tell you about this part here, and this is the whole gist behind this discussion today. This is why you should caution these over discounting, not going too crazy with it. Now, what we've seen with Red Lobster, like I said, they blame this $20 all-you-can-eat shrimp, because what they did when they ran the ad, what happens? It became pop culture on social media. People are actually going on Facebook and some of the other platforms, boasting about how much free shrimp how much shrimp they could eat for $20 at Red Lobster. Red Lobster, and I'm not telling them, I'm sure they have smarter people over there than me. Well, not really, but they have some smart people over there that's supposed to be running the shop. But you have to put some type of limit, some type of restriction on these offers. You have to put some fine print in place. And you can't, because the idea is not to feed people for free. I gave you examples of what some of the objectives are: to build customer loyalty, to bring in new customers, to get people to try you for the first time, to get people to buy other items. So one of the mistakes that Red Lobster did, they didn't put any restriction on it. And William would say, my audio is fading in and out too. So obviously this problem is on my end. I do apologize for everybody if we're giving if technology is not coming through clearly today. We may have to run this show again and invite William back when I can get my technology together. I mean, it's hard to do it when you got one person. When you got 2 people doing it, you can really have a jacked up show. So I'm just keep moving here. I'm going to bring William in, and then we're going to wrap things up. So profit margins is the first casualty of over discounting. You're just not going to make as much money. And in many cases, it could actually put you out of business. Also, over discounting devalues your brand. By offering discounts all the time, if you are supposed to be a high-end company, but you're always offering low-price brands, it puts a ding in that exclusivity and that high-end brand that you're trying to portray. Also, what happens when you over discount? You are you're grooming your customers to wait on the next discount, particularly if you have an item that people don't buy every day. Now, of course, if you're selling water, you're going to drink water. You got to buy water no matter whether somebody has a sale or not. But if you're talking about something like clothing, something like automobiles, something that people might buy infrequently, if you're constantly discounting, they can just wait you out. They'll wait another month. They'll wait a week. In some cases, they'll wait a year because they know that sale is coming. Another problem with over discounting is that you can cannibalize some of the sales of your other products. In other words, they may decide, well, look, I'm going to buy shrimp, but I'm not going to buy the tilapia because the shrimp is on sale. We call that cannibalization. So cannibalization is also a possible side effect of over discounting. So my point is, the Red Lobster example is a lesson for all of us. As we try to build our businesses, grow our companies, we have to understand we can't just let these things go out here and happen in a vacuum, because it affects us. It affects the mindset of the consumer. And as you're building your business and you're starting to project your strategy going forward, consider pricing, discounts, use it as a tool, but also understand it could be a double-edged sword. So what I'm going to do, let me this is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. What we're going to do, I'm going to bring William back. We're celebrating 14 years of being on the air. The show started back in May of 2010 over at Radio 1 under the tutelage of Dr. Kathy Hughes, Miss Karen Jackson, Mr. Ron over there, and we've expanded it into the internet world during the pandemic. Things took a turn. We'll bring William back in here. William, all right. Now, what happened during the pandemic, and William, everybody had to retool. Everybody had to kind of look at things a little differently. So what we did, it wasn't my idea. I go over to Radio 1 one day. Matter of fact, I remember it was March 2019? Or 2020, March 20. I can't remember the exact date, but it was back during the pandemic when it was really just heating up. I think it was 2020. And they told us, look, you can't come back in here. We're closing down the shop. I mean, you can imagine my shop, because we've been doing the show at that point almost 12 years. And they say we because of the pandemic, the shop is closed. So of course that threw me into a tailspin. So what am I going to do? But this is a lesson in ingenuity and resourcefulness. Immediately, we did not miss 1 week. But before the week was out, we had already had a platform in place to keep the show going. Go ahead, William.
Well, we had a head start, because previously with the Marketing Pulpit show, when we came to the conclusion that we needed to get more content out there, we shows throughout the week, Monday through Friday, and 4 of those shows were streamed on other platforms. Remember? Right. Because Larry Poncho Brown had a show. Your brother, Leon, had a show. We had shows up in New York. So we were kind of ahead of the curve for doing that. And I think that was one thing about the Marketing Pulpit show. We were always ahead of the curve.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We have been trailblazers. And I thank you for being part of that, because when we look at a lot of the podcasts that are going right now, many of them fit the model of the Marketing Pulpit.
They do.
We started the first Friday networking event. And you see these networking, matter of fact, you start seeing first Friday networking events pop up everywhere. Right. Even going back to your BB. So my point is, we were talking the other day, and I'm glad I'm bringing this up, because a lot of the things that we're seeing today, things like Uber Eats, things like Instacart, these are not new ideas. No, as a matter of fact, I was with a company called Telegrocery back in 1987. We were one of the first home delivery grocery stores in the country. Now, this is my lesson today, and I want people to listen to this. Ideas come and go, but the thing about an idea, it has an expiration date. You have to capitalize on that idea within a certain period of time.
Right.
And they're going to grab that idea and they're going to run with it. If I had to go back and redo my life from everything I've learned over these past 30, 40, 50 years, as long as I've been around here, I'm going to go back and say I didn't appreciate funding and the scalability of businesses. Right. I had a home delivery restaurant called the Food Connection well before any of these places came along, but I was into the bootstrapping model. I believe that if you worked hard and put your money in here, grab a little money from here and put over there, eventually you can grow that business to become a behemoth or scale it to a national organization. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And plus you
have to fund.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, William.
And plus you need a team of people.
You need a team of people.
You have to build a whole infrastructure.
You have to have the right man. You have to have the right people around you. Somebody that understands scaling, somebody that understands marketing, somebody that understands technology. Yes, in our community, we've seen this since the beginning of time. In our community, we have been trailblazers with great ideas. And many of those some of these same people now, and some of you haven't taken their ideas to the grave.
True.
As we go forward into this next phase of business development in our country and in our community, understand you have to get all of the parts. You can't just have a good product and think that's enough. You have to have the team, you have to have the funds. If you don't have those two things, I'm telling you, you're going to see a lot of good ideas go either down the tube or go to somebody else.
And Robert, I just want to mention this. Remember when we were doing our first Friday events, we had a woman there who had an invention called My Phone Bag.
Right.
And I used her as a case study to show people what happens when you have a great idea and you don't act on it and you don't put the right team together to move on it. Fast forward to the pandemic, I saw a commercial one day. I was in my studio locked down when we were all locked down. Lori Grenier from Shark Tank had put an ad on talking about a client that she had got from Shark Tank who had the same exact product. And this was almost 10 years later. And again, when people don't act on things, I remember clearly, she would come to our events. She would sell bags every time she came to the event. But she had trepidation. She was scared to make the first real step. And a lot of times when people have their 9-to-5 jobs, I don't knock it, but sometimes you have a great idea, sometimes you have to act on it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in that particular case, if she had acted on it, she could have made the millions that the other person wound up making.
Well, this has been one of the hallmarks of the Marketing Pulpit show, is that I could be one of these motivational speakers, gathering thousands of people in groups, pumping their head with ideas and motivation and enthusiasm, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the difference between us and some of the other marketing geniuses out here is that we have gotten down into the trenches and take regular folks with good ideas and held their hand and took them to the top. And some of these people, like I say, we're working with, I remember when the great Joe Madison was just getting started. William and I, we were in the background, lifting the brother up. And William did his logo, I did his website. We were in his ear, I helped him promote his book, Radioactive. We're looking at people like Mr. Neely Fuller. This guy's 95 years old, he's still kicking. I produce his show every Tuesday. We did his logo, we did his book, we published his book. We're behind the scene. We don't just sit up here and talk, okay? The list goes on and on and on. We have people on this line right now who we have been working with behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
This is not just a radio show, okay? I just want people to know that today. Just for this 14 years, what has sustained us is that we're not just up here talking, giving you ideas. We actually, when this show goes off, I'm taking this tie off. I'm going to the boardroom down the hall with one of my clients, and we're going to sit here and talk about putting together this webinar they're about to put up across the country. We're not just a talk show. We are a test tube for success.
Oh, yeah. And Robert, and I always tell people, it's good to be a good talker, but it's better to produce results. And that's something that I can say that you and I have been, we've done that over the past 20 plus years that we've known one another. And I want to say also, just like with brothers like Nathaniel Jordan, who we've been helping produce great things, just like brother Fred Sawyer, who we've done great things with producing him. And, you know, we've done things with a lot of people from the show. I remember when we did the big event that Willie Jolly was the speaker of,
Right.
and I met Joni Ward. And Joni Ward has been a client ever since. And we've helped tons of people. It's so many people, Robert. We probably be on the show, on this show for another 5 hours, just talking about people that we've helped.
You're right. I do remember our good friend Willie Jolly. He's been on the show about 3 or 4 times, and he'll tell you. He came. I heard about him one day. The lady TC, she was a radio personality over at WHUR,
Right.
and she was. I was working with her, helping her build her brand, her company, and Willie was listening to her show one day, and so TC said, "Let me call my webmaster." They were talking about Serena Williams, and she said, "Let me call my webmaster and see if I can get that picture on my website." Before she got off the air, the picture was on the website.
Right.
Willie called TC, said, "Who is this Gatewood guy? I need to meet this guy." And so I think the same day or the next day, Willie Jolly was sitting in my office, and we were talking about strategy for him and his website. He'll repeat that story. My point is, yeah, we sit here and talk, but somebody has to do this work.
That's
and
true.
if we're not going to do it for you, we're going to show you how to do it. And I'm going to tell you why I'm wrapping this up. I'm making a distinction between the Marketing Pulpit and some of these other platforms out here. We're not just a talk show. We have the credentials, we have the experience, we have the clients, and that's why we've been around for 14 years, and we're probably going to be around for 14 more, because we get results. Yes, we talk, but we willing to share. I'm going to tell you one more thing before I go. Somebody asked me the other day, said, "Why do you give out all this free information? How does that help you personally?" Well, first of all, it's my mission. It's my raison d'etre, my reason for being, my purpose. But the other reason is that because some things are so vital in life that not being able to afford it is not a good enough reason not to have it. Like food. You can't say I can't afford food, so I'm not going to eat.
That's right.
You can't say I can't afford water, so I'm going to go thirsty. No, you're going to thirst. You're going to eat, and you will drink water.
Yes, sir.
You have to get this marketing advice if you are going to succeed. If you don't get it from me, you better get it from somebody. But I don't want the people out here who say I can't afford a marketing consultant like Gatewood and Maxwell. I don't want these people to go out here and waste all their time and all their money and then fail. And then we have one more business in what you call your business card morgue because they didn't make it. I don't want to see that. So yes, I'm going to give out this information. And does it benefit me? Yes, it does benefit me. Besides my purpose, people go out and tell other people. They may not be able to afford my service, but they know somebody. My main source of customers is referrals. We also call this content marketing, ladies and gentlemen. This is a form of content marketing where you're not doing a hard sell. You're giving out valuable content to help people. And as a result, it comes back to you. It's also called reciprocity. There's all kinds of things. But anyway, these are some of the foundational aspects and unique selling positions of the Marketing Pulpit show. I'm proud to have had William Maxwell to be one of the people to help get me up to this level. That's why he's here on this 14th anniversary show. Of all the people I could have chosen, I couldn't have picked a better person to come in and help me celebrate this occasion. So I want to thank him. William, any closing words?
Well, I just want to thank you, Robert, for drafting me and bringing me into the Marketing Pulpit, and for being a good friend and basically a brother. And I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to
help the people that I've helped along the way. And I, look forward to working with more of you guys out in the listening audience in the future. So just continue to tune into the Marketing Pulpit show, get this great information while it's still free, and take advantage of it.
Well, I see you brought some of your loyal listeners, followers today. That to me is a testament of the type of services you're putting out there and the commitment you have to your clients. And I just want to say we'll be back next week, but I do want to thank everybody during this anniversary. Matter of fact, it was William Maxwell who reminded me we should do an anniversary show. Just to tell you, this guy's still in my ear, okay? And I said, I'll be darned. I'm out here busy, trying to help companies grow and do things. And I have to every now and then somebody have to pull my coattail and look, man, you have an audience out here. You need to acknowledge, let people know this show has been around for 14 years, and that's no small feat.
Especially in radio. That's like dog years.
So once again, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank some co-hosts we had over years, people like Kenneth Camille, it's Wena Cullins, Falasha Day. God, the list just goes on and on and on. The list of guests is too long. We'll continue to party next week. We'll give some more acknowledgments and just celebrate this 14th anniversary the rest of the month. I'm going to run a couple of past shows during the week just to kind of pull up some of my favorites, just run them during the week. So just stay tuned. It'll show up in your end. You'll see the light come on when the show is about to go live. So we'll be running some rerun shows coming up over the next couple of weeks. And just thank everybody for getting us to this point. Once again, I want to say prayers up to Attorney Thomas and the Thomas family. We're praying for Terry Thomas, who's in hospice right now, for his daughter and his son and all the friends in his circle. I want to say we love you, we support you, we pray for you, and just good people. And anything we can do here at the Marketing Pulpit family, we are here for that. So we're going to wrap it up right now. William, last word.
Well, I just want everybody to have a safe Memorial Day weekend. Don't eat too much bad food, and tune in next week.
All right, folks, I know we had you for a long time today, but I think it was worth it. You've been a great listening audience. I think we had a very big turnout today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Thank you again, William. Thank you for all the listeners. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the love. Thank you for supporting the Marketing Pulpit show for the past 14 years. We will be back next week at the same time. As always, if you want to be successful, thank you, Mr. Brown, you have to do these three things. Do the right thing
at the right time, and you got to do it right.
All right, William. Thank you very much. See you next week.